Hello, and welcome to another episode of Crossing Bridges Talk Show. I'm your host, Larry Montgomery Sr. This is my co host, Will. Will, introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm William Montgomery, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, this week we have an open discussion, but we do have a topic. We couldn't just sit here and chat. And so this week we want to talk about Karen.
Yes.
You know her, right?
Um,
She's on every other block that you don't live on, watching your block.
mm,
So let me put up a little clip on Karen to get us started with. Hold on. Let's see here. How do we get that done?
The 30-day Karen cleanse. Karens are everywhere these days, demanding to see the manager, insisting that if they don't get their roots touched up immediately, they'll set their KitchenAid mixers on fire, and calling 911 on anyone whose skin tone is darker than super white on the Benjamin Moore paint sample chart. Now, sure, you can be named Karen and not be a Karen. In fact, there have been Karens named Becky and Lisa and even Chad. Yes, male Karens are a thing. But when we say Karen, we all know that means someone who believes they should get what they want when they want it, if not before. Has clearly watched too many episodes of Cops, which, thankfully, is now off the air. Is easily triggered by languages they don't understand. Uses a vocabulary that consists primarily of racial epithets, profanity, and the phrase "I'm scared for my life," usually while fake sobbing. Posts tear-stained faux apologies after having lost their job at Hobby Lobby or Chick-fil-A after being called out for their behavior on Twitter. Chances are, if you're a white woman reading this, you're not a full-time Karen. But if you've been doing the kind of introspection called for by these racially unjust times, you may have discovered that on occasion, a little Karen has come out of your mouth. Never fear. This 30-day cleanse that will help rid you of any residual toxic Karenitis your body may still be harboring. Day 1. Begin a meditation routine during which you chant the following mantra: "It is not all about me." For advanced meditators, you may also add, "Other people do exist." Day 2. Sign up for a language learning app and start studying a language you're likely to hear in your everyday life. Not only will this help you to not react negatively to sounds you're unaccustomed to hearing, but you may just find that the ability to converse with others in their own language will bring you joy. And one thing Karen seem to be low on is joy. Days 3 to 9. Make a list of every television show, YouTube video, podcast, or other audio or video content you regularly expose yourself to. When your list is complete, count how many hours you consume of media that glorify police violence, incite fear, or rely heavily on racist stereotypes. Replace all of those with something that is less toxic to your psyche, such as The Great British Baking Show or Queer Eye. Day 10. Have more sex. With whom or what is of no concern, but it's clear that most Karens need to get laid on the regular. That way, whenever you might be tempted to scream profanities at someone for daring to sit on a bench or sell lemonade in your neighborhood. In fact, perhaps that should be your slogan: have a little sex instead. Days 15 to 29. Read and or watch videos about the history of other people who are not white and privileged. The Karen that resides in all white folks tends to think their experience is the experience. And we are so wrong. Day 30. Do something for others. Hopefully by now, your anti-Karen education has taught you the errors of your ways, as well as how hurtful the Karen mindset is for anyone who isn't a Karen. Host weekly How to Anti-Karen workshops at your home. Zip your lip and listen to a BIPOC talk without inserting your opinion. Donate to organizations where your dollars won't inevitably reach the purse of a Karen. That's the full 30-day cleanse. But remember, whenever you feel a little bit of Karenitis resurfacing, revisit any or all of these steps, especially day 10.
Okay, so that'll get us started. Well, I know you had some comments that you wanted to make about that video.
Well, it's very entertaining, definitely. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of Karens out there in the world, over. So, you know, having a Karen cleanse would probably be helpful.
Have you ever run into a Karen?
I can't say for sure. I mean, you see them all the time on YouTube videos, though, uh, getting famous, and most of the time in a negative way. So I should say infamous.
Yeah, I don't think it's a positive thing to be called a Karen.
Yeah.
It would seem that you uh, went out of your way to get into somebody else's business for no real reason.
Hmm.
That's not going to benefit you and only piss them off. But there are folks out there who find the time during the course of the day to be like Karen, you
Hmm.
know. Okay. Got another clip here to give a little more real insight into the Karen mentality. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
What is a sense of entitlement? A sense of entitlement is a personality characteristic based on the belief that someone deserves special treatment or recognition for something they didn't earn. In other words, people with this mindset believe that the world owes them without ever giving anything in return. The sense of entitlement that is seen in children is not always negative. Throughout the stages of development, children depend on their caregivers. However, as children grow older and become more independent, wanting other people's help becomes less practical and takes away from working towards self-sufficiency. In general, a person with a sense of entitlement has a self-absorbed view of the world and little regard or empathy for their impact on others. In its extreme form, a sense of entitlement may be part of a personality disorder, for example, narcissistic personality disorder, antisocial personality disorder. They think they deserve special treatment. People with a sense of entitlement expect to get preferential treatment and special favors in life, without regard for why they should be treated specially. Their view is the world owes me. For example, they might feel that the policies of an organization should not apply to them because they should be treated with special favors. They feel that they deserve more than what they have in life. Regardless of what they have, they always believe that they deserve more. They expect to elevate their lifestyle above that of others without putting in the effort needed to do so. They feel like people should do things for them because of who they are or how much money/power they have. If they have reached a certain level of success, they feel that everyone should bend over backward to help them. If someone has a problem with them or does not agree with what they are doing, they will try to make the other party feel as if they are wrong and that it is a horrible thing to disagree with them. Their personal needs come before everyone else's needs. If you need something, don't expect them to drop what they are doing and help you. They believe that it is your job to ensure they have everything they need, even if this means that you don't have time to take care of your own responsibilities. When someone doesn't give in to their demands, they will cause a big scene. They may be very dramatic when something does not go their way. If a friend or family member acts like this, you know it is best to avoid them when this happens. Otherwise, they will try to make themselves look better by bringing you down. They are not grateful for what they have in their life. Someone with a sense of entitlement may not say thank you or show other signs of appreciation for what they have. This is because they believe it is their right to have everything, so they don't value anything. They have a sense of entitlement about money, possessions, or friends. A sense of entitlement tends to be pervasive across their life. Someone who acts this way about one thing is likely to act the same way about everything else in their life. They may be greedy or will take friends for granted instead of being appreciative. They act like victims and blame other people or outside forces for their problems. If someone in your life regularly feels like something bad is always happening to them, they probably have a sense of entitlement. Someone with this attitude believes the world owes them, that other people are responsible for making their lives better. They constantly need praise and admiration from others. A sense of entitlement also goes hand in hand with narcissism. People who are focused on only thinking about themselves and what makes them feel good may be very demanding of praise and attention from other people. They secretly struggle with insecurity. While the person with a sense of entitlement may come across as arrogant or confident, this can be a cover-up for underlying insecurity or fear of not having enough admiration, resources, or support. This fear and insecurity can also appear alongside depression and self-isolation.
Okay. Now you know what entitlement is. And this is a part of being Karen, you know. Have you run into people like that?
All the time.
Mm-hmm.
All the time.
Yeah. It's not a pleasant situation once you realize what you're dealing with. You know, it's like, you know, how do I get out of the room now that I've walked into this one? You know, but the real problem is when you have somebody who believes that they're entitled and you need to deal with them. You know, how do you respond to that? You know, because you're like wondering, well, is this the kind of attitude that I need to have in order to get to where you are in life? Or how did you get this job? You know, because you're pretty much a butthead. You know? So help me out here, man. Say something.
Well, I mean, you know, like I said, that's it seems to be a learned behavior or a taught behavior. You know, it starts probably pretty young. You know, people get given things, and like I said, is you start to expect that, oh, I'm supposed to get this, and you need to give it to me. I don't need to work for it. You know, it starts pretty young. I mean, for kids, it's understandable, but you start becoming a teenager and up there, like, you know, that behavior or that thought process should melt away because you should have been taught the ethics of working and earning things as opposed to your parents, your auntie, your grandparents, everybody giving you stuff, and then you go out to society thinking that society's supposed to give you everything, and that's not the case, buddy.
Yeah, we have a lot of people who walk around feeling some level of entitlement uh, because I think that's consistent with a racist behavior or mentality. Because why would you have a problem with somebody else because of their color or, you know, their culture or whatever if you didn't believe that you were entitled to be superior to them? You know, um, I don't know if people are born with that attitude, but I'm sure something that they quickly become comfortable with and familiar with as they grow up. And then as their parents and friends, associates, teachers, or whatever continue to accept that behavior, then it's easy to find yourself walking around here as an adult with that sense that I'm entitled to, you know, be where I am. I'm better than you. I don't have to work as hard as you, and you know, to get what I want because people give it to me. You know, because I look good. You know, I'm all that. And the bottom line is we all bleed red blood.
Yep.
So I don't know how entitled you really are. But anyway, um, I have another clip.
Okay, let it roll.
This one is from a religious perspective, what the Bible says about entitlement.
What does the Bible say about entitlement culture? Entitlement culture teaches that we deserve to have things given to us and that we should have special privileges. Those enmeshed in entitlement culture believe strongly that the whole world revolves around their perceived rights, needs, and wants. Its rallying cries are my way, my rights, and I deserve. Within American society, certain rights are acknowledged as God-given and inalienable. But the entitlement culture takes it further. presuming rights that are neither divinely granted nor constitutionally guaranteed. Often, entitlement culture is associated with the younger generation and manifests itself in demands to get something for nothing: education, healthcare, wages, advancements, etc. But those with a feeling of entitlement that the world somehow owes them can be older, as well. Many middle-aged and older people feel entitled to a comfortable life, a lack of pain, a freedom from difficulty of all kinds. Everyone likes the idea of being pampered. It's when we start demanding perks and comforts as a right, or when we try to circumvent the principle of earning privileges, that we succumb to the entitlement culture. Some people in the Bible had a sense of entitlement. Many Jews in Jesus' day had an idea that they were entitled to God's blessings by virtue of the very fact they were Jews, a mentality that John the Baptist countered, Matthew 3:9. The Pharisees believed they deserved public places of honor at dinners and in the synagogues, see Matthew 23:6. They craved attention and titles of honor such as rabbi, Matthew 23:7. They loved to be praised by men for their good deeds and strict adherence to the law, Matthew 23:5. Self-sacrifice and self-denial were not part of the Pharisees' nature. Even when they fasted, they made sure others knew it so that they could be praised for their act of reverence, Matthew 6:16. So entitlement culture is not new. The Bible does not address entitlement culture by that name, of course, but it clearly opposes the idea of a culture of entitlement. Instead of focusing people on their rights or encouraging them to demand something for nothing, the Bible teaches the value of hard work and the principle of reaping and sowing, Proverbs 1:31, 2 Thessalonians 3:10. In addition, Scripture teaches a sacrificial lifestyle of following Christ. Then Jesus said to his disciples, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me," Matthew 16:24. Instead of self-centeredness and privilege, the Bible teaches love of God and others, Mark 12:30, 31. Christians are not entitled to much in this world. They have died to self and are crucified with Christ, which means we no longer live for ourselves, Galatians 2:20. Instead of living with an I focus, we are called to live with a Jesus focus. He died for all so that those who live should no longer live for themselves, but for the one who died for them and was raised, 2 Corinthians 5:15. Jesus is our model in not giving in to a sense of entitlement. Though he was God, he did not think of equality with God as something to cling to. Instead, he gave up his divine privileges. He took the humble position of a slave and was born as a human being. When he appeared in human form, he humbled himself in obedience to God and died a criminal's death on a cross, Philippians 2:68. In stark contrast to today's entitlement culture, Jesus gave up his divine rights and privileges and his own life so that we could have eternal life, see John 3:16 and Romans 5:8. Christians eschew entitlement culture, preferring to honor God and work hard with our own hands, 1 Corinthians 4:12. We avoid selfishness and refuse to pursue sinful pleasures. We understand that, in ourselves, all we are truly entitled to is a one-way ticket to hell with no offer of grace, see Romans 3:23, 6:23. To the eternal praise of God, we have been redeemed, not with perishable things such as silver or gold, but with the precious blood of Christ, 1 Peter 1:18-19. We have been given an inheritance that can never perish, spoil or fade, verse 4, not because we are entitled to it, but because God is merciful and gracious.
Okay. So I think that kind of covers the entitlement culture. You know, is something that's just on the other side of what actually makes sense. You know, whether you're Christian or not, you know, this culture is not going to last. People might think and want it to because they believe they're entitled to something, but as it's said in the end, you know, you're only entitled to a one-way ticket to hell. Because if you think you can live like this here, what do you expect when you die? That it's just going to get better? you're more entitled.
Hmm.
No, I mean, I don't know. I can't answer that. But this is an open discussion, and um, I'm really interested in hearing what your thoughts are.
Well, I mean, my thoughts are, that last video pretty much spoke volumes, because it's not just the people you had identified earlier, it's all people. There's black people, white people, Asian people, Hispanic people. We all are God's children, and we all feel some way, shape, entitled over the next person because I'm me. I might feel I'm entitled over my brother or my sister, or they might feel entitled over me. I'm not saying that they do. I'm just saying that we all are guilty of feeling some type of entitlement in some type of way. I mean, but I know the topic that you're talking about, is specifically associated with racism. But I just want to make that fact that, we all need to look inside ourselves and find out if we are falling short of the mark, and that goes for white, black, and every other nationality, color out there. I don't want to miss any. So, etc.
Well, that sounds good. um, so what are we going to talk about next week?
Um, so, what do you feel like talking about?
It's your turn to come up with something.
Well, how's the new year treating you? This new year so far, is it better, worse? High
That's another
hopes?
day.
Yeah, yeah,
Another day. Yeah. Excuse me.
yeah. But, I mean, we got to speak power into people's lives, and hopefully spread some enlightenment, hope. Because you know, if you don't have hope, you might want to give up, and I don't want nobody to give up.
Yeah, there was an article the other day for on Regina King. Her son
Oh,
committed suicide. I mean, you know,
mm,
that was a surprise. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
she's doing well, and from what I understand, that his career was about to take off, and
mm,
I mean, you really can't tell what's going on in someone's life by just looking at their face.
yeah,
Well, the photos that are posted,
mhm,
on Facebook. But yeah, that's there are a lot of people that are walking around here that had a smile on their face, but their heart is broken.
yeah,
And so I feel for her, and I certainly wouldn't want to go through something like that on my own.
yeah.
But
My
you see,
condolences.
I'm
I
sorry.
said my condolences for her loss.
Yeah, yeah. Um, there was the way she is handling it, is something that makes sense to me.
Mhm.
It's just I need some time, to deal with this type of a thing, as opposed to a few weeks ago when what's his name, that the TV guy there, it's just
Was
it
it
goes
Nick
name.
Cannon?
Yeah, Nick Cannon handled it.
Okay.
Oh, I got to go to work.
Hmm.
Really, that job is that important? you
Yeah.
know, I mean, really,
I
but
mean, we,
yeah,
we handle things differently, and
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of people would have chose to do something else, but it kind of tells you more about a person and the choices that they make. I'm like, to me, my family is the most important thing in the world. So, something happened to my family, I don't know if I'll be able to work. At least not for the next couple of days or something like that. I mean, it might be a month. Who knows? You never know how it's going to affect you, but I know it ain't going to affect me that I'm gonna go to work. Like, I need
Yeah,
some time.
it'd be kind of hard to focus on well, I like they say everybody handles things differently, but
Hmm.
I just can't wrap my mind
Yeah,
around
me
that.
neither.
You didn't take a moment out to think about me when I left,
Hmm.
You know, I ain't coming back. So,
Yeah, yeah,
so,
yeah,
you know, at least, stop what you're doing and say goodbye, type of
yeah,
a thing. I got to go to work. I got to work. These people need me. They don't need you. They need their job. If you don't
true.
show up and they still get their check, they don't care.
Hmm.
If you don't show up and I don't get my check, now that'd be a problem.
Hmm.
Yeah, that don't mean I cared. That just would be a problem.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you know.
So,
Yeah,
my man Nick, hard worker. Yeah,
yeah.
whatever. And my last point. I was watching what's his name the other day, Steve Harvey in
Okay.
his court show.
Hmm.
Did you see that one? The last one he did?
Nope.
Oh man, I don't remember the whole show, but it was basically a guy was suing his girlfriend for back rent. So they were staying together or whatever, and
Hmm.
she's trying to get on her feet, however that worked out, and so she just got a little part-time job and trying to get herself together, and he wants her to pay him $3,400 in back rent. So Steve kind of pointed out to him and said, "Y'all be sleeping in the same bed. You still want to charge her rent?" you know, I mean, really? you know.
Hmm.
But what was interesting, I think the takeaway from that show was Steve, as the judge, awarded the guy the money because he wanted it, and then Steve actually gave the woman $3,400 plus another 5,000, I believe it was. You know, because he says I know what it's like to have been without, struggling, sleeping in my car, because I ain't got it. So I certainly can understand how you feel when your back is against the wall. You're trying to do the right thing. You're trying to get up on your feet. Somebody give you a break, give you a little part-time job or whatever, so you got something coming. You know, and the person that you sleeping with got the nerve to demand, well, I need my money. Well, she needs her money too, and her being there with you, cooking and cleaning, and laying up with you is of absolute no value to you. You don't have any sympathy for her because suddenly you may be in a bind. Yeah. So, but anyway,
Yeah.
uh, there was some accolades on Facebook for Steve in his show. I saw one or two of them, and yeah, it's different, whatever.
I mean, I look at that slightly different though, because
Hmm.
in this day and age, people want to be, you know, treated fairly and equal, and everybody should be treated fairly and equal. And you know, they were both benefiting from spending time with each other, obviously. And when it comes to finances, that's a very tricky situation, And if the shoe was on the other foot, then everybody was like, yo, he need to pay her, that money. You know what I'm saying? So if it's right for this person to do it and it's right and it's wrong for that person to do it, it doesn't make sense. And I'm pretty sure Steve Harvey wouldn't have gave that guy $3,400 plus 5,000 to pay her, you know. He would have just said, yeah, bro, you owe that money, pay her money, you know. And that's where we need to look at stuff in society and say, if it's right, then it's right no matter who it is, whatever their gender is, because then it's not equal, it's not fair, it's not right. But when we do and we say, oh well, because it was a female, which I understand, times is hard for everybody, but to be treated equal means to be treated equal. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. You know, everybody wants to be treated special. You know, but being treated special is not equal. If I want somebody to pay me extra, excuse me, for my talents and stuff like that, then I want to be treated special. I'm not asking to be treated equal because if everybody else is getting paid less, hey, I'm different. I'm bringing this to the table. I'm bringing this to the table. I'm special. I'm different than these people here. So I deserve this, you know. we need to start looking at stuff like that. What do you bring to the table? This is me. I want to be treated special. All right. You want to be treated special, then you can't say I want to be treated equal if you want to be treated special. If you want to be treated equal, you got to take the good with the bad.
All righty then.
And I know some people probably got upset on that, but hey, it's facts, you know.
All righty then.
Hmm.
I didn't see that one coming.
Nope.
But anyway.
It's real.
Okay. But anyway, I'll just leave that alone and let you make your announcement so we can
Okay.
get up out of here.
All right. Well, you know, we like to appreciate our viewers and extend the opportunity if you want to hear us talk about some topics, or if you want to be a guest on the panel, please send us a message in the comments, and we'll see you here next week.
And we'll see you next week, God willing, and the creek don't rise.
And the creek don't rise.
God bless.